Cell theory was only possible with the discovery of microscopes. The two microscope users during this time was the tradesman Antony van Leeuwenhoek and well-known Robert Hooke. While Robert was using the microscope to observe cork cells, which are inanimate and dead, and Tony was observing bacteria and protozoa and described them as little animals. This discovery made the use of microscopes by scientists rocket. Some of these scientists were Matthias Jacob and Louis Pasteur. Matthias studied plant cells and was the first scientist to recognize that all plants are made of cells. Theodore studied animal tissues and was the first scientist to recognize that all animals were made of cells. Then one day these two scientists had dinner together, and Theodore and Matthias conversed about the discoveries, and they were shocked at how similar their concepts were and wrote a book about it. Rudolph continued Theodore's and Matthias' work and proposed the idea that living cells must have risen from pre-existing cells. This idea back in the day was very radical, and citizens and scientists alike doubted his proposal. However, Rudolph's proposal we know today was true. The theory was called spontaneous generation. Lewis set out to prove the theory by using the steps of what we call the scientific method. Cell theory basically states that all living things are composed of cells. It also states that the cell is the basic unit of life. It also says that cells arise from pre-existing cells. The cell theory is also the basic principle of biology. The modern version includes new ideas such as that energy flows through cells. Also that heredity, DNA, is passed on from cell to cell. It also said that cells have the same chemical composition. So cell theory was not actually a theory at all. It was called a theory only because calling discoveries theories were a forced habit on scientists. One of these scientists was Gregor Mendel, and he related his result of heredity with plants to cell theory. Cell theory helps us by helping us understand why we look like and things like why a cut heals like it does. It helps scientists in the medical world by letting us understand what makes us sick and how to cure diseases. The theory also involved that early life consisted of protocells. Protocells are cell-like organisms, but not exactly like cells. Over time, the cells evolved into new cells we observe today. Sometimes the cells are prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are cells with no nucleus, organelles, or membranes. This is basically bacteria. Eukaryotes are cells with a nucleus, organelles, and membrane. These are basically plants, animals, protozoans, and such. Thanks for letting me have dinner with you, Theodore. No problem, Matt. By the way, did you know I found out that animals are made out of cells? Really? Because I figured out that all plants were made out of cells.